Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Homie Picks. It is down to two of us, but that's all right because we're gonna be back to three eventually. You got me, you got Ben. What it do, Ben?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm phenomenal, man. Another day it's another day heading out of 2020. So it's December. I don't know how the weather is around the country. I do know around us it did snow. It hasn't snowed like that in a while, so that was actually, a sight to see. But
Yeah, I was surprised. That when I heard the snow, I was so skeptical about it. I was like, a couple of inches, maybe a little bit of dust.
yeah, that's what I thought. Like
Almost a
usually,
foot.
usually we don't get like snow like that. Everybody else does in New York. They get it. I remember when me and Paul last year for his birthday, we went down to Baltimore because his 49ers are going against my Ravens, and it was snowing that day, but it wasn't snowing bad up here. But
Right.
heading south, it was bad. So I guess things are just catching up eventually to us.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think it was in the middle of the country. But I think we're warming up again this week. It
Yeah,
might rain, and then I think
tomorrow.
Friday again probably will snow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it melts, and we can get out of this this little snow path we got.
Yeah, for real. Because
um,
look, it looks nice when it's falling or whatever, but once it's down, the mess that becomes, that's the pain in the butt.
Nobody can drive, and nobody can predict that.
And not just that, like nobody can park. It becomes nonsense.
Like we used to fit like 20 cars on the block, it's like five. So,
Right. Exactly.
so the
It's
over and
horrible.
under, so the over and under for parking spots is gonna be five. Starting the next time we get snowfall. Speaking of overs and unders, we got five more games, and we got more. This week basketball also begins. We're going to talk a little bit about the beginning of the season, but in the meantime, we still got football to deal with. Our first game we're going to discuss is New England versus Miami. Miami is a 1.5 point favorite. Ben, what you thinking, man? 1.5, Miami.
See, this one's a real pick 'em for me. Normally, rookie quarterback, normal circumstances, I would have leaned towards New England because of the defense and Belichick. However, Miami's defense is really good, and Cam, there's something wrong with Cam. I think the shoulder's not 100%, or at least not right after the surgery. He's still very inaccurate, and then on top of that, he has nothing to work with over there. So it's just a very difficult situation offensively. So I don't see them scoring points with that defense for Miami. I think Miami gets it. I think they can pull off the win. If Belichick gets the win, I do believe it will be by a point. I don't see them winning by more than that.
Well, I mean, this is the second time. Uh, this is the second time that he's faced off against Belichick, and Belichick had the upper hand against Tua the first time. Um, but I think second time around, it is second time within a month, so you kind of get familiar with certain schemes, or I mean, you may be familiar with certain things. You can remember certain aspects of what happened, and Bill always has something different for defense.
Right.
That's the beauty of his coaching. Um, but I think Miami, being that this is the playoff hunt, this is trying to solidify where you belong within the standings.
Right.
Um, and being that, I mean, I've said on other shows, it's in that division, it's Miami and Buffalo, and Miami's playing catch up. Buffalo, is having a great season. They had a great game against Denver, um, but I'm going to go with Miami on this one because I don't think Miami can afford to slip up. I mean, think about it. You still got Baltimore that's not in the top two of their division, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. So
Yeah.
Miami has a lot of contenders for that that number 6 through 9 spot. That they're trying to go for. Plus, they still have to go. They still have to try to hope that they can overtake Buffalo, for that for that other home game. So I'm pretty sure everybody rather play in Miami for a home, as an away game than go up to snowy Buffalo for a home game.
That's
So
true.
I mean, but Miami still has shit to play for. So I think Miami, holds this one down and squeak out. It's a 1.5 point, cover. That shouldn't be too hard, but it's New England. Weirder shit has happened.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Miami. I don't see Cam overcoming this defense. That defense is really good right now. So unfortunately for him, they just have nothing really to work with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess the best thing for Cam was going to New England because he kind of has, it's not so much a resurgence, but him in Carolina is fizzled out. So this is like the restart of his career, but he's still looking like he's still having some issues
Yeah,
that's lingering from his Carolina days. So
yeah, for sure. His mechanics weren't always perfect, but there's something definitely off. His accuracy, I think, is falling off even more so than it was before. Because I think he was like that's 50 to 60% average
mhm.
thrower, but I think he's much less now.
But his hair still look good.
Hey, the man got style, right? So good to go. As long as you look good, you're winning.
That's all that matters to him right now. I mean, looking good in Boston. Moving to our second one, we got Seattle at Washington. The red hot Washington football team.
Yes.
Who would have thought that? But Seattle is a 6.5 point favorite. They are the division leaders, but they also have LA right on that ass. And the same as Baltimore and the AFC North. That West, for the NFC, is tight, man. You got Zona, LA, and Seattle, three contenders. So but I think Seattle has a lot to lose over Washington. Washington, literally, I think they can compete, they can contend. They've shown more of they've shown more of an actual of a semblance of a real football team these past
Right.
few weeks.
Yeah.
But even if they lose, I don't think they really have too much to fear, being that you have the Giants and you have the Eagles and you have the lowly Cowboys in that division.
Right.
I mean, it's still
Yeah,
tight.
it's tight. But they're still in there.
They're still really in this. I don't think even if they were to lose, it would be that much of a detriment. I just need to see if I need to see it. They need to see if they can actually compete against a real playoff team. And they've shown it recently. They've been playing hard.
Right.
And I think they play hard some more this week, but I don't think they play hard enough to actually keep it within 6 points. I think somehow DK Metcalf runs over them. My only concern and I think you may have the same kind of concern as me. That Seattle defense is trash. And that's the thing that scares me. And Washington has shown that they can kind of score at times. I don't know what Washington team shows up this week,
Right.
but for 6.5, I think Seattle can probably win it by a touchdown, and I think that's one to lean to. So I'm going Seattle.
Initially when I saw this game, I was leaning towards Washington because the strength of Washington team is the defense. They have a very strong front.
Mhm.
And Seattle's weakness is that offensive line. They cannot. Russell's always running, so they can't contain a good rush. It would definitely bother Russell. But my biggest concern now is that Washington is not playing with Alex Smith. They were going back to Haskins, so that immediately cuts down the production, at least points wise, because when Alex Smith started to get into a groove, Washington was starting to roll. They got a couple of wins in a row. They were actually scoring 20+ points.
Right.
But now that's I do not see Haskins moving the ball much. I know that I don't know if Gibson is back in the lineup. I know he had a toe injury.
Mhm.
So even the running game might not even be there either. So eventually Russ is going to score. There's no stopping that. So I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up. So
Yeah.
I think Seattle's going to cover this one.
I feel the same way on that one. Washington has a good team. I mean, a good for average ass team.
They
They're
need a
good for being
quarterback.
average.
They need a steady quarterback. Like I said, Alex, if he didn't get hurt with I think he got what's the calf injury. I think it was where somebody cut him with a cleat or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, very unfortunate. He was playing well, so I don't think it'll be too long of an injury, but obviously it's enough that is bothering him.
Yeah.
But Haskins, I mean, he when he played, he didn't show anything really. So uh, he's very inaccurate. So
Yeah.
once Washington gets a little bit more settled with a quarterback, which they probably would have had a shot if they lost a little bit more. But we'll see.
I mean, look, it could be for Washington, it could be worse. You could have Trubisky or or Nick Foles as your quarterback. So
I mean, look, Alex Smith is good. I mean, for now, like to
but
get you by, but they need
Alex
to
Smith is better than he's better
right
than any
anybody that they
baseball.
have right now. So they just need to keep the man upright, and they gotta find a quarterback either free agency because some teams are gonna be dropping theirs, particularly the Jets. Big
And look,
people think they're gonna drop.
kudos to Ron Rivera. He
Yes.
he's showing that he still got it, and he's a fighter. He had like he had his medical.
Yeah,
Um,
he had his medical thing. He was battling cancer
yep, and
first couple of weeks. Yeah.
he's in remission for that one. So he's a fighter, and his team is showing that they got fight too. So I give respect to Washington.
No, yeah,
I showed them. I showed them more respect because they dropped that Redskins name, but
yeah, they've played well. Good coaching job by him because
but
very surprised.
but it no matter how good the coaching is, I don't see that being under six.
Not this time. No, like I said, they won't be able to score. That's the problem. They won't be able to score.
Not
I
this
feel
week.
like
Not this
as
week.
bad as Seattle's defense is, I have no confidence in Haskins.
Not this week.
Yeah.
But who knows? It might be someone else's week because you got Philly, you got Arizona, and that too is 6.5. And like the last one, the West team is the favorite over the NFC East team. So Arizona 6.5. What you thinking, man?
This was a little tough for me. It's Jalen Hurts' second game, so there's still not a lot of tape on him. So he has a little bit of advantage on that. I still don't think they're gonna win though. I feel like Kyler's starting to play a little bit better. Maybe the injury started to go away a little bit. So saw the smackdown they put on the Giants. Um, they're very capable of doing that. The only thing is that Philly's defense is decent.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a decent pass rush, so if they can contain them, I still see Arizona winning this game, but I think I'm going to take Philly with the points. I think Arizona wins by 3. I don't think they'll blow Philly out, but I see them winning.
Okay.
I'll take Philly. I'll take the points of Philly.
Okay. I I was leaning really towards Philly. I was leaning towards Philly for the same reasons. You don't really have tape on Hurts,
Yeah.
so that could be an advantage, especially late season. Defenses are getting beat up. They're tired, and here comes this newcomer, and he's fresh legs.
Right.
Um, and he's shown in college the boy can play. So. But I think last week against the Giants, because it's one thing to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. It's another to completely dominate the teams that you're supposed to dominate.
Right.
And they completely flatlined them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think now the Giants defense isn't nowhere near Philly's defense, but I think Arizona, like we mentioned with Miami, they have something to play for, and they're trying to get into that playoff spot.
Right.
It's a great advantage to have one more playoff spot available, so that makes things more within grasp. Um, they've had some tough losses. They've had some tough wins. I think they can get this one. I maybe I'm thinking Arizona's going to win by 9. Don't ask me how. I just think Arizona can win by 9.
Very
So
possible.
it's possible, but it's also very possible that Philly, like they did against who was that when they had that last second touchdown,
Yeah,
and they just put
they just blew
themselves
the
on.
spread.
They
Yeah,
just put the spread aside. I mean, like
that's
it's
that's what I'm banking on, really. I'm banking on Philly to spoil the spread because because like I said, I see Zona winning. I'm just hoping Philly covers the spread.
like I said, man. Everything is very possible. But one thing that definitely is for certain is that Kansas City is in the playoffs,
Yes.
and they got the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans, but KC, as they should be, is the wow.
Favorites.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. KC is the favorite. They are a 3-point favorite at that. Um, I flat out KC should have this one. I know KC has not been as dominant as they have been in weeks past. And maybe competition is getting better. Maybe Pat Mahomes is trying to, rest up a little bit before the playoffs, but still playing in game shape. They should be smoking teams. And like I said, maybe who knows? Maybe from last year to this year, teams are starting to, take more game footage from what the Raiders did,
Right.
and understand that, what it takes to be within competition of them. But I do not trust New Orleans. New Orleans showed me enough from the beginning of the season, and I get it. Beginning of the season to mid-season and almost end of the season, they're two kind of different teams. The Saints were, but I still don't trust them. I don't trust Drew Brees' arm. I don't trust that they can keep it close, especially 3 points. I think KC definitely should have that. That should be at least a touchdown, maybe at least 10-point victory for KC.
Okay. um. Yeah, I was thinking. This one's a little bit tough for me because I was um they like you said they kind of figured out the little Jason Tatum whatever what's his name, Tatum Hill,
I'll
the
take
quarterback.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, yeah.
Taysom. Yeah.
They figured him out a bit, so they see his gimmick, so they've caught up. The thing is now Drew Brees is going to play this game,
Mhm.
so he's back. So they kind of threw a little bit of a curveball, I think, in the game plan that they might have been drawing up because they were gearing up to prepare for this other QB, a running QB, and now you have Drew Brees, who's basically a statue back there. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna catch him by surprise. And like you said, KC hasn't been scoring like they should be scoring or blowing out teams that they should be blowing out. And I think it's just something that they do. They play down to their competition. I think they're just so talented that they just cruise, and then they head into the third quarter and they make a miraculous comeback and they blow out the team by a touchdown. So it's very, very KC thing, but I think I might lean on this one on the Saints just a little bit. I think the preparing for a different QB. The Saints defense is pretty good. Lately, KC hasn't been scoring. They've been scoring touchdowns, but when they get to the red zone, they have been doing a lot of field goals, surprisingly. So I think they might slow them down just enough that they can get the win. It's gonna be that it's either the Saints win or the Chiefs blow them out because it's not gonna be by 3.
Look, I mean, you're right. I mean, New Orleans has the capability of scoring. They can score.
Yeah,
I remember what was last year or 2 years ago when it was Niners in New Orleans, and that shit was like in the 40s,
yeah,
in the 50s. So I mean,
yeah. Yeah, they
You know,
can definitely score. They can definitely score. Although I think Michael Thomas might be out, which
mm,
might hang them up a little bit. But Drew Brees still manages to get people in the end zone. Um, I don't know. I think they just might. They also really have still something to play for. They still want to get that top seed in their division.
yeah.
Casey's pretty much wrapped it up, so they're just cruising in. So I can see the Saints pulling this one out, sneak in and win.
The only thing for KC, even though they are in the lead for the top spot because Pittsburgh did lose against Buffalo last week. Um, they can afford to have another loss. They cannot afford to have another loss because then that makes more pressure for them going into week 16 and 17, where you have Pittsburgh right there. And that's only by one loss. So yeah, KC
It
needs
could
to.
it could be, yeah, but if Pittsburgh, who the Pittsburgh's playing this week?
They got
Cincinnati. Okay, they're not losing.
yeah.
No.
Pittsburgh got cupcakes the rest of the way now. So
Yeah, they shouldn't lose to Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh has
If it's a
10 points.
tight win to Cincinnati, it's just going to show you that Pittsburgh is not a Super Bowl team.
And look, I mean, of course, I would have said that early in the season, but but I'm a hater, so it ain't my team. So I'm
I
going.
said
I'm
it.
going to be a hater.
I said it when Washington was going to win. I told
See,
you
you
that.
did call that one.
I told you
You
because
did
they
call that.
didn't beat anybody, any real team. And teams that they were supposed to blow out. Sometimes it was close, so I was like,
I think the only tough game they got is next week, which we'll talk about that one next week. But that's against your Colts. So that's the only tough one they got. Well, no, I can't say it's only tough one because that last game they got against the Browns, and the Browns are probably trying to finalize their position. So yeah, Pittsburgh got hell to pay. I thought they got cupcakes, but they got hell to pay, for the next 2 weeks after this. So.
Yeah, they got to keep it together.
So they got to give their bye week, their quote unquote bye week this week.
After all that complaining of all those bye weeks, right? Maybe they should have practiced.
But look, I mean, I get it with Pittsburgh, but I don't give them excuses. But at the same time, because of that Baltimore thing where you're supposed to play one day, then you play another day, then you play another day after that, instead of Thursday, turn to Monday, then turn to Tuesday. So I get it. They're all over the place. However, that don't excuse how you only beat Tennessee by 3.
Yeah.
And then, you only, then you few games before that. So, and against that Buffalo shit, that's no excuse. Buffalo handed y'all that. They handed that L to y'all. But speaking of Cleveland is our last game. That is the Sunday night football game against the G-Men, the New York Giants.
Lou.
So, yeah, shout out to Lou. Lou, he wanted to be here, but it's around that holiday time. He got the kiddies around, ladies. If you want a good man with kids, holla at Lou. I don't have his IG, Louis Law, but you can see it on the past few weeks of Homie Picks, and other shows on A2020 Vision. Anyway,
might be there somewhere.
somewhere in here. See, I'm being a matchmaker and I'm being a Batman. Cleveland is a 6.5 point favorite. And this would be the second week in a row. The Giants would be the underdog in their own home. On the last edition of Homie Picks, both Lou and Ben was like, how can the Giants be an underdog in their own home? And what happened to that? So, what's that you now?
I didn't say that. I just picked the Giants.
Correction, you're right. That was Lou.
I did say that their defense was playing better, and then Lord and behold, they fall apart. But
you're correct. That was Lou.
But I guess that was my mistake. Like when we spoke earlier, like I said, it was my mistake. I should have seen that as the letdown game coming because huge win, big loss comes up. It was just a big win by that defense. But whatever, it happens. Yeah. Sorry, Lou, your team. They did what they do.
So So what you thinking this way? You thinking you're gonna be Cleveland? You're gonna be you don't gonna cover that?
Yeah, I actually like Cleveland in this game. I think they're playing very well. And they're playing to their strengths. They can run the ball. I don't think anybody can stop Chubb right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Baker's making the throws that they need him to make so far. Like last game, he was on target. He was making the throws. So yeah, they found a formula. If they can keep Baker between the 20-30 range of throws or lower, they usually win. And I don't see the Giants like scoring a lot. So I think it should be a Cleveland win.
Yeah, to me, it didn't even matter that the spread was 6.5. I was still leaning for Cleveland, even as a money line pick. But when I saw 6.5, and knowing that Baker and the boys can score like that, to me, it just said pick them. That should be an easy pick for me. And I believe Cleveland is going to run circles all over those boys.
Yeah.
Not saying that the Giants are a horrible team. They're just not a good team. And they're definitely not going to be that good against the Browns.
Yeah.
So, I just think Cleveland should probably beat them by like 14, maybe 17.
Yeah, I can see a blowout happening. It's very possible because they're gonna run the ball. I don't think they'll stop Chubb. They won't be able to stop Hunt. I mean, I think they're gonna run wild on them.
Yeah, it shouldn't be really a close game. Cleveland needs to assert dominance and show why they are a playoff team this year, especially. Cleveland is a better team. Cleveland is a more dominant team. The Giants very much can try to make it close. Daniel Jones, he is playing, but to me it doesn't matter.
Right.
You can have the ghost of Saquon Barkley. It won't matter. Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it's Freddie Kitchens calling in plays, and McCoy is the quarterback actually. Because I heard the crazy narrative, a revenge game for them. Like, okay, they can try. They can try.
That's not.
I'm sure they're motivated.
Like I said, in Cleveland, after losing last week to Baltimore, they definitely have some juice in the in the system because they're definitely not trying to lose, and they're not trying to make this a close game. They want to make sure that they are the second seed or have a possibility of being the first seed in that division, which is probably the first time since Jim Brown. So, I think Cleveland has a lot that is riding for them. I don't see them losing that.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
So that wraps up our 5 for football. You got other little nice little bets going out there. We did give a bonus last week of the Jets, and that didn't work out so well.
The Jets did what Jets do.
they play like a Jet. Play like a Jet.
It was incredible.
Doing a weekly wrap up for last week, which I didn't do earlier. I was 4-1. Lou and Ben were 2-3. The only one I fucked up on was the Pittsburgh game, which I'm sorry. I try to do better this Sunday. Ben and Lou had Colts in Buffalo, right? So let's see what this week does. Again, shout out to Lou. Lou couldn't be with us this week. He will be back with us next week, more than likely. And speaking of, not next week, but this week, basketball starts. Basketball starts on the 22nd. You only have 2 games to start off. To kick off our new basketball season, which just ended less than 80 days ago.
That's why it feels odd. Feels odd.
Like less than 80 days ago that happened. So, but you got the Warriors coming to Brooklyn. You got the Clippers staying where the hell they at because they're playing the Lakers at the night game. So you got a nice 2 games. Well, I mean, you may have one nice game One possible, because it's only Steph Curry. There's no Klay Thompson, so the Warriors should get freaking smoked. KD and Kyrie looking pretty good in preseason. Ben, do you have a basketball team?
I do not like to mention the team I used to root for, just because of circumstances that happened around that team.
Okay.
But I really don't root a particular team per se. I like players, so I really just particularly like particular players. But there are teams that I like on particular seasons. Like when Golden State was still trying to get their chip, I like Golden State a lot. So I still like Golden State. I still watch their games. I used to like Miami before LeBron got there. But that ruined that part of it. But not that I don't like LeBron. It's just like, people think you're a bandwagon fan just because of that. But I like teams that are like starting to become that up and comer. They're starting to blossom. I like to watch those teams. I like to see if they can make it. But
right, yeah, for me, I've been a Nets fan since 2000, the Jason Kidd era. I was a Kidd fan before that. It's funny, I was sharing a story with Paul the other day. Like the reason why I became a Jason Kidd fan is because my first jersey that was ever purchased for me was a Jason Kidd jersey when he was in Dallas. And when that happened, I became a Kidd fan. Like I never really followed him in college because I was a Duke fan.
Yeah.
And when I got that jersey, I started following him in his career, loved him in Phoenix. And when he came to Jersey, it was right over the bridge for me, and I just stayed. I just stayed a Jersey fan, and now they're in Brooklyn, so it's even better for me. So you got your 2 games to open up the season on Tuesday. Wednesday, you got some more. We probably will be back with y'all with some Christmas games, because you not just have basketball, you also have football on Christmas, which is a first for me, I think. But just to mention, since we're going into the season, we'll probably ask Lou what he thinks about the outcome going in terms of the favorites to win the chip. Currently, right now, as it stands, the Lakers, of course, are the favorites to repeat. They're plus 270. Milwaukee is plus 550. Brooklyn is plus 600. Clippers plus 650. The very long shot, and I mean the bottom of the bottom. Anybody want to take a guess on who is the two teams who are the biggest long shots according to these sports makers to win it?
Has to be the Knicks.
Yeah, it would definitely be the Knicks. The Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers are the 2 bottom teams. They are plus 25,000.
Lou might want to drop one on that.
Yeah, if you, look, anybody wants to bet $100 on the Knicks, you will have a good 25,000 on your hands. So, do what you gotta do, Playboy. But
just be aware, there's a 99.9 chance of losing it.
If you like giving your money away, instead of betting on the Knicks, I would give you my Cash App. Ben will give you his Cash App as well. Like we would gladly take your 100, because that ain't gonna happen. You also got nice little side bets. And of course this only applies if you are in a state where you're allowed to gamble. But even if you have like little things against your friends and so forth, entertainment stuff, if you look on any of these bet sites like FanDuel or Point Spreads, Simple Bet and so forth, you got nice little side bets. You got teams to make the playoffs. So if you feel a certain team is on the up and coming, on the rise, somebody who didn't make it last year, you think will make it this year, hey, go at it. That's the beauty of sports betting. It continues to grow. It does continue to get into more states.
Yeah.
Look, I say it like this: if we can legalize weed, we can legalize sports betting all over. So
it hasn't happened all over yet, but
it's getting there.
it's getting there on both ends actually, so it's a good thing. So if any of you guys have money to spare and you don't want to just throw money away on sports betting, your future might be on betting on gambling in the stock market. Buy some stocks and gambling because that's gonna pop once it becomes fully legalized all over. Look out.
Absolutely, man. Look, everything is a hustle. Try to get yours.
Good. Get it early now, because I believe there was this betting thing that came out not that long from Barstool Sports. They partnered up with somebody and they went public, and I think their stock was selling for, I think it opened up at $20 or $15 or something like that.
Right.
I think it's up to like $93 or something.
See?
So like something simple like that, grab a couple here and there. That's your savings.
Yep.
And then you have more money to bet on, like degenerates like us.
And if you want to bet on this, like I said, just give us your money. We'll gladly take it.
Yeah, we'll place that bet.
Yeah, we'll place it. But that does it for another week of the Homie Picks. Like I said, me and Ben, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Yes, comment.
Tell me I'm dumb. Tell me I'm smart. Tell me something.
Tell me something.
We in there. We out there. We here for you. We do this for you. That's what we do. We do this. Also, quick plug: A2021 Vision hats are on sale. Hit up the president of the company.
Slide into them DMs. Slide into DMs.
He will definitely link his info right here, and we'll come back at you for another week next week. Until then, be safe. Happy holidays. We love y'all.